Welcome to day 19. We're working with a yin practice, a slow based practice today, and we're focusing on our heart chakra. So lots of chest openers, lots of lengthening through the spine as well. So we're going to do our pranayama breath practice at the end of class. So if you do need to take a few minutes just to find some stillness and some quiet, just pause for a moment and take a few rounds of breath, maybe for around a minute. And then we're going to meet in a balasana child pose. And you can do that with a pillow or a bolster or a rolled up rug. And we'll come to the extended position. So big toes will touch, knees are nice and wide. And then we're going to have that pillow so that the side of the face is resting. The hands can rest beside, or you can extend them nice and long. Just want you to find a nice, comfortable position to begin your practice. And then begin to check in with the breath. Our aim is to bring the hips back towards the heels. But Balasana is a beautiful rest pose, a posture to reconnect with your breath. And just begin to close through the eyes if you haven't already. Bring your awareness onto the mat and into your room. And most importantly, giving yourself permission to be here for your yin practice today. If you're feeling like you're a little bit rushed, find a deeper, longer exhalation breath. Or perhaps just a nice even count in and even exhale out. You might feel a softening and a lengthening through the spine, which will allow that bottom to come back just a little bit more. And when you're ready, we'll turn the head to the opposite side, coming through the neutral front position and then gently placing. Just so that you allow a moment for the neck to balance out on either side. And I'll leave you in silence just for the next minute here to find your breath, to find this nice relaxing posture. We'll gently return so that the forehead is resting on the bolster, the floor, or whatever's supporting the neck. And I just want you to bring the hands behind so that the palms are facing up. Maybe moving that bolster away a little bit if you need to find some space and some air. And the palms are just resting open. We're allowing the shoulders to come down and away from the ears. And we'll take 3 final breaths here. Beautiful. When you're ready, we'll bring the hands under the shoulders and come up to a kneeling position. If that's too uncomfortable, come onto the bottom. Gentle roll through the shoulders. And we'll bring the hands to rest in the prayer mudra, setting an intention for your practice today. And when we work with the heart chakra, I'd like you to set that intention just for yourself. Loving oneself first and foremost is so important before sharing with others. So just set a personal intention today. And then I'd like you to rub the hands vigorously, nice and fast. And then bring that warmth of the palms to the chest. See if you can tune in with the heartbeat. Beautiful. 2 more breaths here. Filling the hands up with each rise and fall of the breath. And then we're going to take the all fours position. Just move the bolster out of your way, just to the top of the mat. You might use it in just a moment. We'll take a few rounds of cat-cow here. So reaching up with that back, tucking through the chin. And then as you lower that belly down, just a gentle rotation back of the shoulders, and you're gently looking to the top of the mat or further. Good. Fill up the lungs. And then deeply release on the exhale. I'm going to try 2 different styles of breath here. So we inhale in the cat position. And then we exhale and release the breath as we lower the belly. I find in cat-cow there's really no right and wrong. Many people prompt it the different way. But we're going to change anyhow. So we inhale up, filling up the lungs. Breathing into the back, and then as we exhale, releasing that air. Beautiful. 1 more round. Inhale up, and then release down. Good. So just take a sweep back of the bottom back towards the heels. We'll do it 2 times each way. Good. Come back the opposite direction. Beautiful. Come back to the neutral spine. Take a breath in here. And then as you exhale this time, come into the cat. Inhale. Fill up the lungs as you come to cow. And then deeply exhale as you come in. So as long as you're breathing, that's the most important part. But it's quite nice to breathe the alternate way into the spine. Just feeling the difference, how it might open for you more. Breathing out into the cat or breathing into the cat. Good. Let's take 1 more round here. And then release. So we're coming into melting heart position. So the hips stay in line with the knees. And we walk the fingertips probably to the front, if not off the mat. The bottom stays here as we melt the heart down. And for some of you, might want to extend the hands a little bit wider. We support the head, so the forehead's resting on the ground, either on a towel or on a block, whatever you need if that forehead's not meeting the earth. And I want you to tuck through the toes here. Good. So you're really allowing a concave of the lower back, the chest to really melt down to the earth. We're going to take a good 5 or 10 breaths here. If this is too intense, you can always come to rest on the forearm. Still keeping the hips in line with the buttocks. Hips in line with the knees, I should say. I hope your buttocks is in line with your hips. Good. You can even spread the fingers, spread the hands a little bit wider. Really enjoying that release through the chest. Keep pressing through the toes, or you can untuck if you prefer. Remembering that forearm option's available. Good. 2 more deep breaths here. If you haven't got the toes tucked, begin to tuck the toes. We replace the hands where the elbows would come. And then we walk the hands back. We're coming into what's known as Caesar toe squat. You might want to bring the knees together. And we come back so we're sitting nice and tall. So if this is too intense, untuck the toes. But we are working with the plantar fascia through the bottom of the feet. So we're here only for around about a minute. So see if you can find some breath here to help you stay. We'll interlace the hands around the buttocks. Draw the hands down, and we're really opening through that chest. Good. If that feels good, you might even take it back for a little back bend as you allow the fingers to come down towards the heels. Really opening through that chest. Gaze can be neutral, or you can really lengthen through the front of the throat. Good, let's take one more breath here. Stay with the toe squat, but if you need a release, come up and then come back down. And then we'll interlace the hands at heart center, reaching out nice and strong and long, pressing the knuckles away, and then begin to tuck that chin towards chest. A little bit of abdominal awareness here through the core. Keep pressing those hands forward. Beautiful. Gaze comes back to the hands. We'll turn the palms now. Send them up nice and tall to the sky. Again, take that gaze high or neutral within the neck. We've only got 3 more breaths here. Stay with me if you can. Good. Last breath. Deep inhale in. Release the hands. Come forward. Give those toes a tap. Smiling here. Everybody loves this one. Good. And come back down. Just rest here for a moment. A nice little counter pose. Take a circle of the neck action. So we're coming into a nice little lunge series now. So if you need to double mat or bring a blanket near the knees, you can always bring your mat forward too so that you can rest the knee on there. We'll find all fours. And for some of you, you might need your books or your block close by as well. Good, let's start with the left side. So we bring that left foot up. The hands will come to frame that front foot. Some of you might prefer to stay with the hip in line with that knee, or others might tuck that toe and deepen and lengthen the lunge here. So we've still got some weight so that it's even through the front knee and ankle. And just make sure that both feet are on the mat, so you're pressing through the back foot. And I want you just to press into that back foot, lift the knee and come back down. So just notice how you can have a little release there if you need. If you were to take a block from the front foot all the way down between the legs, you want to make sure that you've got a nice gap here, which will allow you to find some balance. If you're feeling a little bit unbalanced, heel toe that left foot out just a little wider. Good. So we're going to take the weight into this front left knee, really feeling an opening through the hip flexor. Fingers are tall or supported on the blocks. And I want you to soften the gaze now. Maybe even rest the side of the face next to that left knee. Good. You can alternate come to fists, so you roll the fists inwards, fingers inwards, and we rest the thumbs. Just allows a little release from the wrists. Alternate, you could have your chair up here, resting the hands on the chair. Lots of options for you. Again, press into this back foot. Just take a little pressure off that knee. If this is too strong, tuck that back knee, bring it in a little closer. Otherwise, stay with me here. Bring the awareness to the breath. Maybe closing through the eyes, softening through the jaw. Taking this a little deeper if you can. Good, we'll take tall finger placement now. And we're going to heel toe this left foot out, coming into that winged dragon. So most of you might want to even take it off the side of that mat. Good, hands will come in line underneath the shoulders. Good. Few options for you here. If you'd have a block, you could come to the forearms, resting the hands in the prayer mudra. You could bring your pillow across as well, reclining down, or you can stay nice and tall. Whatever feels good for you. I just don't want you to strain. So make sure that you bring the earth to your arms if you need. Good. So any sharp pain, come out of the posture, take a step back. Otherwise, relax here through the face. Find that breath. Try not to clasp through the hands. You'll find you'll hold tension through the jaw. If you need, bring a further prop. So we're going to stay for a good 5 more breaths if you're able. Watch that those hips don't swing too far to the left. Trying to keep that right knee in line with the right hip as much as possible. Maybe squeezing the eyes closed and then softening to allow a release through that brow. Good. Few more breaths if you have it. Yin's all about not finding that Goldilocks. Finding the Goldilocks position, not coming too heavy, too fast. Being kind to the body. We'll then raise back up. Just shift any props just out of your way for a moment. We're going to heel toe the left foot in. Good. And this time we're going to come to a runner's lunge. We're going to tuck through the toe. We're going to bring that bottom all the way back. Good. If that's too intense for you, untuck the toe, bring that bottom back, and we bring the supporting hands again in line with the shoulders. Good. So if you're staying here in that tucked position, we're awakening through the feet, through the plantar fascia. Good. Option is to lift up with the chest, bring the head down towards the knees. You might even soften the hands or the forearms to the floor. Good. Remembering, taking those options, untuck the toe. We want to draw these front toes back so we're lengthening through the leg. Good. Nice hamstring release stretch here. And then softening if you need into the slight forward fold or staying tall. Good, we'll take 5 more breaths. Beautiful. I want you to come tall on the fingertips here. Leave the left hand in line maybe with the knee or the hip. Just reach that right hand forward. For some of you, connecting with the shin or ankle, or just a gentle drawing forward. Good. Soften that elbow. Take it into a little bit deeper forward fold. Beautiful. 1 more breath here. Releasing, coming back up all the way to the all fours. And just sitting back on the heels, noticing how lengthened that left side of the body will most likely feel. And just close through the eyes. It's beautiful to take a moment in between each posture for a counter pose. And take this time to find your props and then come back up when you're ready to the all fours. Make sure there's a separation of the knees back to the hip distance. And then I'd like you to bring that right foot up. Again, the hands frame that front foot. The knee is in line with the ankle. You can stay here with the back leg, otherwise tucking that and deepening the lunge. Again, just make sure that that back foot is on the mat. You can soften to the flat palm or come to fists here, releasing the thumb forward. And we bring the side of the face towards that right kneecap. Just take a moment to clench through the buttocks and then release. And do that a couple of times and take any adjustment with that right foot that you need. Find some space for the breasts, for the belly, or just to find a comfortable position. Now soften here, a good 10 breaths to come. Maybe softening and moistening through the lips, giving that jaw a little wiggle. Whenever we work with the hips, especially through a hip flexor, we can hold some tension there, so soften. Connect with the breath to help you work through. It's mainly the mind that's telling you to move. It's only if you're in any discomfort, major discomfort, that you'd need to move out. Otherwise, generally the breath will get you through to hold here for a little bit longer. Beautiful. As you raise that gaze back up, come up to tall fingers. We're going to heel toe the right foot off the mat. We want to start so that that knee and ankle are in alignment. Again, you can bring your block or your cushion underneath where the forearms are. Staying tall with the palm, and we just open that knee slightly out to the side. Or you can come to rest down onto the forearms in that prayer mudra with the hands. Good. Check in so you're drawing the left hip towards the left side. Good. Winged dragon is this posture. And it's quite a challenging one, especially on that back knee, so make sure you're pressing into the top of the foot, tucking the toe if you need and lifting up, replacing it down. And remembering you can skip a posture if it's too intense for you. Just have a gentle turn of the head, left to the right. Just shaking no. Allowing any final release through the neck tension. Good, let's take 2 more breaths here. As you come up again, we'll just move any props forward. We're going to heel toe that right foot in. Tall fingers here, tuck that back toe, and we're going to bring the bottom all the way back. Hands come underneath the shoulders for support. You might take a few little releases just to find that comfortable position for the back toe. Again, we find the length and a flexion through the right foot. Good. Taking the alternate option to untuck that toe, bringing it back down if you need. Softening through the palms, or otherwise staying up in that tucked toe for around 5 more breaths. So only taking this position to where it feels good for you. Be kind to that hamstring, a little rub if you need. It's called a runner's lunge for the fact that it is rewarding as a runner to do this stretch, but sometimes it's a little bit hard on one side. So come back up, untuck that toe. We're going to bring the bottom all the way back if we're able to. Really drawing this right toe back, pressing the right hand into the earth and reach around with the left hand. Good. Head comes down towards the knee. Or just soften here. Good. 2 more breaths. Good. 1 more breath. And then bring the hand back down. Gently come back up. Sweep that right foot around. Let's take a nice child pose here. Again, you can support through the head. So begin with the hands out in front. And once the forehead's supported, either on the black mat or on a block, soften and bring those hands down around towards the ankles. Or you might even bring the elbows onto the earth near the ears and then bring the hands into prayer mudra. We'll take 10 cleansing breaths here, exhaling through the mouth. Connecting with your breath. Reconnecting with your practice if you're finding the mind is wandering. You might even bring that internal gaze towards the third eye between the brows. Keeping that awareness in the room. Good. Bring the hands back under the shoulders, coming back up. So the next posture requires some support, and I know you don't all have a bolster at home. This is where your dressing gown cord and a pillow will come in quite handy. But what we'll do is we need to create a bolster-like position. So folding a pillow in half and then wrapping it around and tying either end, or if you've got two long thin pillows. And we'll bring it around the 1/4 down the mat. Some of you will need an additional support for the head, either through a blanket or a block. And you want to be quite high to begin with. So we come over onto the bottom. Generally the bottom is quite close to the bolster. And we're going to open the arms out. So start with the bent knee position. And we really want to open up that chest. The hands will come out to the side. We want to open through the throat. And the top of the shoulder blades are coming up and over the pillow or the support. Good. So when you first start, it can be a little bit lightheaded. So bring that neck position up through a block or double pillow. But we do want the head to become lower than the heart if possible. So any low blood pressure, just be mindful of this one. You might want to stay in line. Good, and when that feels comfortable, and if it does, find some length through the spine. We want to make sure the bottom is on the mat. And you may be able to straighten through the legs. Really enjoying the length here from the tip of the toes all the way up to the throat. And then allowing the crown of the head to really come down towards the earth. So we're here for a little time. So if you find that you're quite straight within the neck position, that's okay. After a little bit of time, we'll allow a little bit more length through the neck. So these hands can be out nice and wide, or you can just rest them on your support, but it's nice to open the palms out. When the palms are facing up, we're receiving energy from the room you're working in. Or if you feel you need to, just calm down a bit, turn that palm over, connecting with the earth. Good. Remembering any lower back pain, come back to the bent knee position to support. And you can also bring a blanket underneath that lower bottom if needed. So I find a good couple of minutes here just allows a real opening across the chest. You want to shine your chest up to the sky, lengthen across the collarbone. And it might surprise you, but I'm going to be quiet for the next minute as we all just listen to our own breath. No need to press pause, Albie. We'll take 5 final breaths here. You can remove any supports from underneath the head if you feel you can come a little deeper now. Really bringing the crown of the head towards the earth. So effectively we're doing a bend back here as the head is lower than the heart. And for some of us this might be as intense a bend back as we're going to ever do. And that's okay, because this is a beautiful posture to really open up and lengthen through the body. The thing I'd like you to be mindful of here is the way we come out. So we come back to the bent knee position. And I don't want you to strain through that neck, so we're going to roll to the side. So we just come over, push the bolster or the pillow away, and then just rest on the side body for a moment. You can bring the upper arm under the head. Just come back to a nice even breath count. Beautiful. When you're ready, using the supporting hand, press on up. And we'll come up into a comfortable seated position. Good. Just allow a few breaths here. We often find we can be a little bit lightheaded coming out of that posture. And I'd like you to find your blanket. We're going to bring that under the bottom just to bring those hips up a little bit higher. Good. For some of you, might like to find your strap close by as well. And we'll just have a little point and flexion through both toes. Make sure your fleshy goodness is out and back and you're sitting up nice and tall. Beautiful. Let's just take a little counter pose by reaching the hands up nice and high. Lay the palms down as you come to a forward fold. And then slide those hands back up the legs. Roll through the shoulders. 2 more times. Inhale up. And then exhale, release forward. Good. Roll back up. One last time. Reach up nice and tall. And then release forward. We'll stay here for a breath or two in the Dandasana forward fold position. You can surrender those palms up. We're pressing the legs down into the earth, finding some length, a flexion through the toes. We're soft through the elbows. Good. Little turn of the head, yes and no. And then we'll roll back up nice and slowly. Beautiful. Here we'll utilize the pillow or the bolster that you had before. And some of you might even use your block or your cushion as well, depending where your forward fold takes you. So this is called caterpillar pose. I'll come front view and then I'll show you side view. We want to interlace the hands around the skull. So we're not pressing forward, we're just resting. The elbows are open and then we want to bring them towards so that they're around shoulder distance apart. A flexion through the feet. We'll take an inhale. And then we want to exhale and bring the elbows down. So if they're not meeting your bolster, you can bring a block under here and hold it with your elbows. Even the forehead might rest on there as well. Good. So it's called caterpillar pose, but it's supported with the head. The elbows coming forward are just giving us some weight and some heaviness here. We're not pushing, but they're allowing us to come forward. Good. If this is too intense within the hand action, again, you can surrender them forward like we did before. Keep that flexion through the toes as you lengthen out, maybe just lifting one heel then the other. And then allow the legs, the toes to soften. Really surrendering into the yin posture. If you have quite a deep forward fold, maybe removing the support and then coming up nice and high and coming down to the ground. You might even have that block on the lowest level. Or if you've got a deep forward fold, bringing the forehead down to the knees. Finding an even breath here. Keep surrendering into the posture. Allow that deepening of the forward fold. Softening through the toes, the fingers, through the face. If you find you need to take a little adjustment, come back up. Roll through the shoulders, find that length again. And we'll take 3 final breaths here. Rolling back up nice and slowly. Little counter pose, bring the soles of the feet together. Seated Baddha Konasana. Good, we want the toes and the heels to be touching, just a gentle flap of the legs. Good, so in that seated position, we're going to hold with the right hand and take a little twist to our left side. You can hold on to the toes through a clasp or just pressing that hand away. Take a breath in and exhale as you release to a little twist. Good, one more breath. Inhale, grow tall through the torso. And then exhale to release. Good, bring that gaze back forward. Take a little sweep around of the hands. Good, inhale in. And exhale to release. Good, inhale. And exhale, keep opening through those knees. Good, one last breath. And release. Beautiful. Draw those knees up into the chest. Give yourself a hug. Good. That's our yin class for today. Thank you for joining me. I hope you all enjoyed your practice, and I'd really encourage a nice long shavasana now. We've really opened through that chest, so you could come back into that supported position or allow the bolster to run nice and long along the spine. You're bringing the back to it. You can come on back. You could bring that pillow or another blanket under the head. Again, those knees could be in recline Baddha Konasana or nice and long. As you feel a nice supported shavasana and really lengthening and opening across that chest, allowing that heart to shine. I hope you all take the next few minutes for yourselves. Namaste.